Hello everyone and welcome back to So Dramatic. Now that the dress is finished, I'm getting ready to paint the face, and the bottom part of the legs and shoes will be painted on right there. Now normally how I work is I like to do the painting and wait for it to dry off on the side while I do all of the textile art of fitting the dress to the doll body. However, in this case, I needed a couple of things um, and had to find stuff that was hidden in a box that I didn't label correctly. And now I am ready to paint. Here are the colors that I've got. I've got an apple green that I will dilute with some pearlescent white for that nice glowy color. And I also have some acrylic titanium white and a textile medium to add if I need it. And I have a few other colors for the face, and we'll see how it goes. So I'd like to share a story time with you from my off-camera life while you're watching this. I moved my computer station from upstairs to downstairs, and in the process crashed my C drive because I thought the computer was turned off when I unplugged everything, and it was not. Nope. So my C drive completely crashed. Fortunately, most of my assets were on the S drive, so it's taken me a little bit of time to get everything back up and running and find all the pieces of footage and work with what I have. So that's why it's been a while. I'm on some different new medication now too, so you shouldn't be able to hear me breathing as heavily as you have been in the past, because the Symbicort is really helping me. Also, there's less smoke in the air now. I was feeling very fatigued after work and recovering from my illness. I feel so much better now, and we're back to regular content creation. I had a lot of fun painting these, especially the pointy toes. The way the blue showed through on the paint made me realize that yes, they need a second coat for sure. I had a lot of fun painting the shoes on. They are just like the zombie ballerina, same pattern. And here is a shot of that right here, just so you can get a break from me painting. The legs took quite a while to dry, as did the face and the toenails. I painted everything at the same time and then proceeded to put the whole thing together. So I'll show you that coming up. I would like my audience to let me know if they find the music in the background annoying and or how to make my videos better for the viewing audience. I haven't added music this time around for a change of pace. Right, okay, look at that leg. I got it all painted up, second coat, and it is ready for stripes. I started the other one just to see how well it would work. And you know what? I like it. There's going to be some lines at the top here, probably. We'll see how I feel about that when it comes time. But some final art line definition just right at the top here. That would be nice. I'm doing these freehand. I'm largely using the width of the brush to determine how wide the stripes are and just kind of eyeballing it. I really like that. It gives it a more authentic feel, in my opinion. I'm sort of going for the fairy gothic, just light on the horror, maybe a little horror, some glam. They're really cute anyway, and I like it so much. After making this doll, I looked up bone fairies online to see if they were actually a thing. And yes, they are a thing, although they're a lot more horrific than this doll is going to be. She's sort of like Bone Fairy Light. Oh my gosh. But according to the lore, yes, they are cousins of the Tooth Fairies, but they live out in the wilderness and avoid people and use scavenged bones that they've found in the forest for their magic potions. Unlike Tooth Fairies, who live in the city and are smaller and grind up old teeth for their magic. So that's kind of fun. The bone fairies that are part of the lore are 6 feet tall and kind of scary looking and have an exoskeleton of bones and spikes. So that's not what this doll is. She's sort of like happy, happy fairy light. I love it. And I like making my own creations. But I didn't know about the lore before I started this, and now I do. And now I'm passing it on to you. Enjoy. Here we are with leg number 2, almost ready. I will be spraying all the pieces with a Krylon fixative to stop the paint from eroding and protect it from dust and damage. I almost always do this, but I spray everything outside because it's just noxious, the fumes. It smells like Sharpies times 10. Gross. All right, here they are with the final art line, and I'm so happy with the way they turned out. Now we'll do the face and then the arms and fingernails. Here you can see that I've started with the eyes. I always do, just to get a feel of where everything should go. I put some light pencil marks on the face so that I can see what I'm doing. And they're usually gone by the time I'm finished. Most of the face is painted now. I'm adding detailing and defining the nose and the mouth and above the eyes and the eyebrow. It's a lot of layers and a lot of work, and so very rewarding. I try not to use too much paint at a time. It's sometimes hard to estimate how little I actually need. This has caused me to basically waste a lot of paint in the past. I often have cardboard pieces for mixed media off on the sides so that when I'm done I can paint something else and use those pieces for some other art project later. I do enjoy this part because it kind of looks like a blob right now, but the final art lines will make it all pop and come together. I don't remember how or why I got into soft doll sculpting and painting. I think I saw a book at the bookshop and thought it was on sale, and I thought, hey, I'll try that. I love learning new sewing techniques and new detailing techniques. It was also a way to use soft scraps and build maquettes and learn how to make something really small before I made something big and wasted a lot of material experimenting. Painting the pupils on is a slow and careful process because it's so easy to screw it up. I move really slowly and try not to use very much paint at all. I'm just using what little paint I have on the edge of my palette knife for this. It's so little paint. And there's a touch that I'm going to do at the end of adding just a white shine right in the middle of the pupil, or just off to the side of the pupil actually, on both sides, just to give it a little more life. Making the eyes is kind of tricky because you don't want it to look completely lifeless. I'm using a fine tip art liner here. It looks huge compared to the doll because the doll head is so small compared to the rest of my hand. As you can see with the art line, it's just bringing everything to the surface and creating that final look that I love so much when it all comes together at the end. Marking in eyelashes, detailing the iris, detailing the lips, making just that line to highlight the blush mark. This part is so rewarding. Getting the nostril just right has been a journey, to be sure. Mostly it's all triangles and circles, really. The art lines are almost done, and I'm going to be ready to wig it pretty soon. Here is the final product. The face is painted, at least the bottom layer, and the feet are painted. The bottom layer is done. The only thing I have left to do before I clean up all of the paint is make sure the fingernails are happy. So here we go. I'm using a 4B pencil so I can see what's going on. I find it's just the best one for this. And I've also got to make sure that I have a right and a left hand because that has happened to me before and it is pretty terrible when it does. I know this is a doll and doesn't really need fingernails, but here we are. I like to have them. Well, the thumbs are a little bit of a short wreck now that I'm looking at them. But you know what? This is just a doll. We're okay here. To go with everything else, we're gonna have the greenest fingernails you ever saw on her. Before I clean up the paint, I'm always thinking, okay, is there anything else I have to paint before I clear out this? Because I almost inevitably squirt out more paint than I really need. I've got to work on that. Always just like, oh, I'm going to need this much. And then I go to do it and I'm like, oh no. I could have done with only a quarter as much as that. But you just don't know, right? Oh, it's got a fat finger there. Nice fat finger. That's okay. Great. And then I will do the final touches later on with the final art lines on both the face and the hands. Okay, so I've hit it with a Krylon fixative that brightens up the colors and fixes everything so that it's not going to get damaged. Once it's dry, I will do the soft sculpting on the face and everything's looking pretty good. Like, look at the art lines on this leg. It is gorgeous. I'm very, very happy with how it's turning out. So the doll hair wasn't working as well as I'd hoped. I had done a stitch to hold the weft together with this doll hair because it starts out like this, so it's all separated. And then I wound it around that to get it to the length I wanted. I took it to the sewing machine to really nail down the weft. Look at that. And just so that it is not going to move while I'm sewing it on, because that's the major problem I'm having right now. I am very new to doll wigging. I haven't done a lot of it, so I'm doing my best to make it work. I've got all the lines on the head and just trying to make it work out. Okay, see you in a minute. The wigging itself is a very long and arduous process. You have to work really, really carefully. As I said before, I'm new to this. I'm probably making a whole whack of mistakes. I don't necessarily trust glue to always stick by itself, so I like to sew when I'm soft sculpting. If this was a hard plastic head, I would definitely glue this on, for sure. I really enjoyed the process, even though it was at times really frustrating. One of the things that went awry is that I miscalculated the hair length and doubled it instead of just using the original numbers, so the hair ended up being super long. I think I'm going to braid it in the style of the Sylvan Elves from one of the Heroes of Might and Magic games. I really enjoyed that game, and that particular elf style has been an inspiration in a number of places for me over the years. Sadly, I completely ran out of this white glow-in-the-dark hair. I've completed the part though, and I have this clown hair that I'm currently cutting the weft out of for the green because it will go with the dress, and I can pop that in to the places where I still need hair on her head. All right, so we'll see how that looks when we're done. I have a few scraps of the white left over, but I'll be using those just for tidying up and popping in a few places that might need it. All right, see you soon. So she's finally finished. At least I'm going to call her done. Her hair is pretty swamp witch looking. It's the first time wigging, well, not the first time wigging a doll, but it's the first time in a long time that I have wigged a doll. And I'm still learning how to do it. There we go. And there's her legs. Oh my god, she looks so good. I'm so happy with her. I hope you've enjoyed this process and learned a few things along the way. Oh. She looks as good as she can look, and I'm really, really happy. Like, comment, and subscribe.